Welcome to Provide Like Jesus, the podcast that inspires Christians to serve and provide for their families and communities like Christ. I'm Justin Thomas, a husband, father, entrepreneur, and author on a mission to be a healthy provider in every area of my life. Together, we'll explore Scripture and hear from guests who demonstrate servant leadership so we can all provide more like Jesus. This show is brought to you by the C.L. Thomas Fellowship, a nonprofit my family and I founded to support this mission. Let's begin. This is a reintroduction to our podcast. We are now calling it, drumroll please, Provide Like Jesus. You may have seen that in the title here. So during the pandemic, almost 5 years ago, I decided I've always wanted to have a podcast. What should I talk about? So I just started talking to friends. I also wrote a book, and we started the Become a Provider podcast. And it has been an amazing journey so far, and I'm really excited as we begin 2025 to focus on the podcast again with renewed energy. And also, just to clarify, what is this show about? So this show is about providing like Jesus. So I thought, well, let's just call it that. And this is part of the ministry of the C.L. Thomas Fellowship, a nonprofit that my family and I founded after the passing of my father so that we could honor his legacy of providing for others, but also just to formalize this and to have some resources behind it. So this podcast is my family's gift to you, to have this recorded and edited, and with the help of a team to get it out there to as many people who want to provide like Jesus. So if you're a Christian or just someone interested in the life of Jesus and how people are trying to emulate and follow him as a student or disciple or apostle of Jesus, then this is the right show for you, and I hope you enjoy it. My interest in this is that that's what I'm trying to do. I wear many hats in life like all of you do. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a coach, I like to write, I like to podcast. And so this is a very meaningful show, but this is not by any stretch of imagination my career or how I provide for my family. Rather, it's a passion project. It's something that I want to maintain and to keep going because by doing this show, selfishly, I'm becoming a better provider for my family. I'm becoming a better provider for my clients and my colleagues and my community if I'm embodying the life and the ministry of Christ. And as a Christian, that is what we're supposed to be all about. How can we become more like Jesus? And so I like to think of it in terms of how do we provide for ourselves and how do we provide for others like Jesus did? So he gave us an example in first century, but now here we are in 2025 at the time of this recording, and whenever you're listening to this, life is much different. And so how do we take those timeless truths of Jesus and then bring them into our reality today without watering it down, without missing the point, but contextualizing it for today and our unique lives and roles? So I hope you enjoy this. Just to give you a reset of what to expect from the show, my intention is the following, is that it will be a weekly show. It will be one episode with a guest to dive into how they provide like Jesus and how I see them doing that in their life and in their career, and having a one-to-one conversation with and bringing that to you. I love hearing people's stories and learning from others. And then we'll have the next week, it will be me looking at the life of Jesus, sharing how I'm trying to do that in my own life, and perhaps bringing in some other books and resources. So that is the intent of the show, to be a weekly show, to alternate between interviewing guests and then sharing some scripture in my own life. So I'm not a pastor or a formal teacher here, but I am a guy that's super interested in how do I live more like Jesus, because I think that is part of the purpose of life, is to emulate our Creator. So as a Christian, if I am not glorifying God, then I'm missing the point. How can I glorify God? How can I not get off track and to do things that I just want to do for my own purpose and reason, but I can do it to glorify God? So just a quick episode to say I'm really excited about this focus of the show to go from become a provider to provide like Jesus, and to maintain the focus on him and how we can become more like him through hearing people's stories and also looking at scripture together. I hope to also offer more resources online at our website, clthomasfellowship.org, and so that we can have more content around each episode, a newsletter around providing like Jesus as well. And then if you want to follow me on social media or online, I'll use the handle at JustinThomasNC. So that is your open invitation to follow the show, to provide like Jesus, and let's do this together. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Provide Like Jesus. Go bless and protect someone today, and remember to keep providing for yourself by subscribing to our free weekly newsletter at clthomasfellowship.org. You can also connect with me on social media at JustinThomasNC, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.